Hey guys, Dan Heilman here. This is going to be another Path of Exile video. I am doing all the quality of life changes that are coming in Scourge. They just released some other really good ones in the Twitch live stream that they just did. So, hope you enjoy the video, guys. Alright, so one of the first quality of life changes that was implemented here, or will be implemented, is the Uber Lab, or the Eternal Lab. You no longer need to go find all 6 trials and unlock them to get into the Uber Lab, and they changed the level from 60 to 68. So this is pretty awesome in my opinion. It was kind of a pain sometimes. A lot of times I'd be like missing one trial and have to, go into the general chat and find someone and get in their instance and all that good stuff. So this is cool. And most people aren't really doing Uber Lab before level 68 anyways. So this is an awesome change.
Early next year, we will release a huge overhaul of Path of Exile's Atlas of Worlds endgame in the 3.17 expansion. In the meantime though, our October Scourge expansion introduces a bunch of changes that speed up how quickly you can set up and progress through your Atlas. We're also introducing more types of ultra-challenging endgame content for top players who want to put their best characters to the test. In order to substantially shorten the length of the Atlas grind, we have reduced the number of regions from 8 to 4. This implicitly reduces the number of watchstones required from 32 to 16. We have also reduced the number of maps on the Atlas, so it's now approximately 100 plus the unique maps. We've rebalanced the bonuses for completing content so that by the time your Atlas is fully unlocked, you'll receive a slightly higher level of benefit than you did before. Because the number of regions has been halved, so have the number of Atlas passive trees. There are now 4 plus the Uncharted Realms. We've made each tree slightly larger and removed some less frequently used or duplicated skills. You'll still be awarded the same number of Atlas passive skill points as before. With these changes, each map you play constitutes far more progress than it previously did. About half as much work is now required to reach Path of Exile's ultimate endgame.
Honestly, these Atlas changes are very cool. I'm really looking forward to these Atlas changes because, to be totally honest, I am not a huge fan of the new Atlas. I kind of like the old Atlas with the, Elder and Shaper influences and all that stuff. I really enjoyed that Atlas. I haven't spent that much time endgame in the last couple leagues since they changed that. But I think this is good. Having 160 maps is kind of crazy. Taking it down to 100 maps plus unique maps, it's pretty cool. You get your map bonus quicker, which obviously helps you to upgrade your maps to higher tiers. So that's awesome. So, all right, these are all awesome changes. Really looking forward to these.
We've made some other changes to streamline the endgame also. For example, now when you unveil a modifier, all tiers of that modifier are immediately unlocked at the crafting bench. This applies to every veiled modifier, including the very rare ones.
Wow, did I hear that right? So as soon as you unlock a veiled modifier, you get all of the crafts for every single tier. That is very cool. Before, you had to get the same veiled modifier like, 3 or 4 times, and then you unlock the lowest level craft on the bench. So this is very cool, getting all this on the crafting bench right away. This was a very good change. Very happy with that.
Expedition artifacts being automatically picked up isn't the only improvement we're making to reduce unnecessary clicks in this expansion. In order to make sure that each stack of currency items is worth a click, we're trying out a system where currency items drop less frequently, but in larger stack sizes. For example, Scrolls of Wisdom in the late game might drop 1/10 of the time, but when they do, it'll be in stacks of 6 to 14. This means that the click that you will make will gain you a much more meaningful amount of currency at once. We have applied this to many different types of currency items, and the effect of the system gets larger as you get further into the game. In addition, we've had a look at instances where item drops happen simultaneously, and we've made it so that items that can drop in stacks will automatically do so. This includes at the end of delves, incursions, rituals, blight encounters, breach zones, and the simulacrum. We have also applied this approach to many chests and areas like splinter drops throughout Path of Exile.
These 2 changes right here are, along with the stacking change, are the best changes in this entire upcoming changes, 100%. Fragments and scarabs and all that stuff is now going to stack to a much higher stack size instead of just one item. So that's awesome. And trading, that's so much better. Just stacking in your inventory, all that good stuff. Sometimes you get like, a couple fragments of the same one and they obviously don't stack. But the coolest part is things like portal scrolls, scrolls of wisdom, all of that stuff. They say right here they might drop 1/10 of the time, but they'll drop in stacks of 6 to 14. That's awesome. Before, you know, you're running around and you're like, oh shoot, I need to pick up my wisdoms, my portal scrolls, all that good stuff. Now having them all drop together, but less frequently, that's an awesome change. You don't have to click as much. It'll make everything a lot faster. And when it comes to like delves, incursions, rituals, breachstones, all that good stuff, you'd kill it, or, you know, boxes, stuff like that. You'd get like Arcanist strong box, all the currency would drop, and you'd have like 5 orbs of, you know, chaos orbs, for example. And then you'd have to go pick up all 5. Now they drop in a 5 stack. You just pick them up and move on with your life. Awesome change.
Improved existing ones, and concentrated power more directly on each skill's primary function. The process of doing this identified that many passive skills had niche stats that didn't matter to most characters or distracted away from the purpose of what the skill was trying to do. When we took niche stats away from a skill, we buffed the primary function of the skill so that it was more concentrated on one purpose. While I'm sure that powerful passive skills sound great to you, you're probably wondering what happened to all of those niche stats. You see, while we were doing this revamp, we realized that specific build-enabling niche stats appearing in specific locations on the tree actually constrained players' passive builds in quite severe ways. Players who wanted to get several specific niche stats often had little flexibility with the rest of their tree because they had to plan around getting to the specific clusters that had those niche stats in them. We decided we wanted to solve both problems at once here, to move niche stats off the main tree, but also to provide a way to get them, preferably from many different locations all over the passive skill tree. And that's how we came up with a passive masteries system. Outside of the class start locations, all passive skill clusters that have a notable passive in them now contain a passive mastery. When you allocate the first notable passive in each cluster, a mastery becomes available to allocate in that cluster. When you spend a passive skill point on the mastery, you can choose a specific stat to gain. This list is shared with all the clusters on the tree that have the same theme, so you can travel to any of them to get the stat you want. As you allocate a mastery stat, is crossed off the list for that theme. This mastery system has essentially let us add hundreds of powerful new notable passives that you can access from all over the tree. In addition to the stats that we moved into masteries when consolidating power on the rest of the tree, we got to come up with a bunch of new interesting niche stuff to enable even more builds. We've also rebalanced a few keystone passives, changed the locations of some, and added 6 new keystones to the tree.
I like these passive tree changes as well. These, I forget what they're called. These notables here in the middle are pretty awesome because there's a lot of times where you got to go like 10, 12 talent points just to get to one thing that you need. And that's kind of annoying. You don't want to, you know, there's a lot of builds I've done where, you know, most of the talents are just for traveling. And then you get a couple notables that you really need. So this is a great change as well.
We've made quite a few changes to Delve in the Scourge expansion. The first change is that we have completely rebalanced the entire thing so it's just more rewarding and more challenging at earlier depths. In general, monsters scale to have more life but less damage than before. We've improved monster skills and biome modifiers to make deeper depths more challenging to go with their better rewards. Due to these changes, we've wiped the standard Delve ladders but have retained your previous depth on your characters. To get back on the ladder, just play at whatever depth you were still able to complete. We've also improved the Delve catch-up mechanic. Previously, if you entered Delve for the first time at level 90, you'd be taken to a depth that is the equivalent of Tier 1 maps. Now we'll be taken to the equivalent of Tier 13 maps. This means that if you want, you can essentially ignore Delve until the late game rather than having to play as you go. We've increased the base soul fight cap from 600 to 1200. Underground cities are now more common and you'll encounter bosses more often, including all. You can rarely find fractured items with Delve modifiers on them. We've also increased fossil and resonator availability throughout the Azurite mine. Fossil availability outside of Delve has been reduced. All resonators drops are now chaotic resonators, with alchemical resonators not dropping anymore. We've also improved the least powerful fossils.
They reduced the damage of the enemies in here, gave them a little bit more HP. That's cool because you can build, you know, high damage builds and get through there. They improved the catch-up mechanic. Now you get even more catch-up if you, basically, if you don't go in there till endgame, you get to go further to start, and you get more soul fight storage capacity right from the beginning. You get more bosses, more boss encounters. That was my biggest complaint. Delve was by far my favorite league out of all the leagues, but there was not a lot of bosses. It was, you know, I think I did maybe 1 or 2 bosses in the entire Delve league. They changed resonators completely. You get more resonators. They took away the alchemy resonators, which were kind of useless. They buffed the worse fossils, so that's very cool. Lots of great changes to Delve. I love Delve, so I'm really looking forward to those changes there.
We first introduced guilds alongside Path of Exile's initial release in October 2013. Our guild leaders and members have been patient for a very long time, and after 8 years, we're rewarding that patience with a wave of guild quality of life features. As a game about items, the functional heart of a Path of Exile guild is its stash. You can finally control-click items into and out of your guild stash and access other features such as the drop-down list of stashes, drag-and-drop stash ordering, affinities, etc. We have also introduced guild versions of all of the types of premium stash tabs, so guilds can finally enjoy popular tabs such as currency or map tabs. While shared guild tabs are a little more expensive than individual tabs because of their server costs and development overhead, we have bundled all of the exotic ones together in a single discounted bundle for guilds that want to invest in the whole lot at once. We have also added the ability to export a CSV file of your guild stash activity log for convenient auditing. We wanted to pair functional with fun, so we have introduced guild hideouts. Guild leaders can select any in-game or microtransaction hideout that they have unlocked and create a guild hideout based on that template. These hideouts are a great place to hold guild meetings or to just have as a space for members to meet up between maps. If you're hanging out in your guild's hideout, you can use its map device as though it was your own. We understand that not everyone is in a guild, so there's one hideout-related feature that we wanted to mention. We have entirely removed the favor system from Path of Exile. From this expansion onwards, all hideout decorations that could previously be obtained with favor are now available to all players in unlimited quantities, both personal and guild hideouts. Now, there's nothing stopping you from making the hideout of your dreams. We've also added a system that allows you to filter decorations by tag because there are just so many available to you by default now.
All the changes for the guild, the stash, the hideout, these are awesome changes. I have been playing since the beta in 2013, and you're never able to control click into the guild stash, so that's a huge change. Stash tabs for all the different currency, all that good stuff. Very cool change. Being able to have the map device in the guild hideout, that's pretty cool. And finally, I might actually make a nice hideout because you have unlimited decorations. You can use all the decorations, so I might actually spend some time this league making a hideout. So very cool changes there. Okay, those are all the changes that I'm aware of that are quality of life changes coming to Path of Exile in the next patch, which is on the 22nd. I am super excited. I think I'm really going to go hard on this league, and I'm also going to try to make a good amount of content for this league. So if you enjoyed the video, go down there, hit that like button, hit the sub button. I'll be making more Path of Exile videos alongside Magnum Quest, Rage of Destiny, and eventually Awaken Chaos Era when that game comes out. So hit the sub. It really helps me out, and hit that notification bell if you enjoyed the videos. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. See you guys.